Alright guys, Man City have just beaten Chelsea at Stamford Bridge by a goal to nil. I believe that's the exact same result as it was last season. I think it was Gabriel Jesus possibly who scored the winner last season. But in tonight's game, it was a really good game to watch actually. A very even game is what I would say. I think Chelsea probably deserved to win it just as much as Man City. And also I think this game highlighted how much better Chelsea are at home than they are away from home. You know, the Chelsea fans get a lot of flack, I feel, but one thing they are is passionate. I know there have been a few incidents over the past few years where there's like a minority who've sort of let the fan base down, but overall, I don't think they get enough credit, Chelsea's fans, to be honest. But yeah, in this game, it was a good performance from Chelsea. First and second half, actually. First half, I felt they were probably the better side. In fact, definitely, actually, City couldn't really get on the ball. And second half, I thought it was a really even game. So possibly, I think Chelsea could have, you could argue, been the better side in this game. They came closest to scoring in the first half, hitting the post. Carney Chukwuemeka, who came on as a sub for Christian Pulisic, I think, came really close, deflected effort, hit the post. And yeah, Chelsea had another two injuries in the first half for Pulisic and Sterling, which is not what they needed at all right now. They are having a bit of an injury crisis. In fact, if they didn't have that much depth in their squad, they'd really be struggling right now. And I think by some of the later substitutes, you can sort of see that, to be honest. They were struggling a little bit towards the ends. They had to bring a couple of youngsters on in Hall and Hutchinson towards the end, just to give a bit of legs and try and get back into the game. But they didn't perform too badly. Hutchinson and Hall at the end, they did themselves proud, to be fair. But yeah, Chelsea they definitely had got into the more threatening positions, especially in the first half. I thought Havertz had a very good game, playing slightly deeper than usual because of the injuries. He was playing in behind Aubameyang, who didn't really get involved, but Havertz, he had some real good moments, and Rodri really struggled to contain him at times throughout the game. So yeah, fair play to Havertz. And the thing with Havertz, and it always has been, he's got to just keep it up for a run of games, which is what he struggles to do. Because when he is in the mood, he is a brilliant footballer. But yeah, second half, City had in the first half they set up with their usual 4-3-3, with midfield three of Gundogan, De Bruyne, and Rodri sitting. But about 20 minutes in, I think Pep realised that this isn't really working because Chelsea was starting to get on top. And he changed it to sort of like almost like a 3-2-4-1, which isn't a formation I've heard of a lot because that's how far forward Cancelo and Foden were playing. Usually you'd say 3-4-2-1, but they weren't wing backs, they were wide midfielders. And yeah, so he definitely had to change it up a bit. And then at half time he made the substitute, which made a bit more sense, bringing on Kanji for Walker and Rico Lewis for Cancelo, who's been in really good form recently. In fact, I don't think Walker and Cancelo have even played that much recently. To be fair, there were a few changes to this Man City team tonight, with also Foden coming back into the fold. He's been out of the team recently, with Grealish and Mahrez both starting in ahead of him. And Bernardo Silva was played out wide in the first half, but eventually came deeper as almost like a sitting midfielder. So yeah, there were tactical changes throughout the game from both managers, which you expect from Graham Potter, but Guardiola, I think it did really indicate that City were struggling early on in the game. But at half-time, after the two defensive subs, City just improved massively. Other than like a Haaland snapshot in the first half, and Haaland didn't really get involved at all. And I mean, with Haaland on the pitch, even if you don't notice him as a fan, he's still playing a big part because he does he'll be on Thiago Silva and Koulibaly's minds constantly. They'll need to track where he is, keep an eye on him constantly, which may give up a little bit more room for the other players to create chances or get in dangerous positions. So yeah, there is that to his game as well. Even if he isn't seeming like he's getting involved, he's still playing a role. And yeah, City hit the post through Nathan Ake header, I think it was. And then on the hour mark, they made two vital substitutions to how the game went. They brought on Mahrez and Grealish, and that they combined to score the winner. And it was good play from City to score the winner. De Bruyne, good pass outright by Grealish, and good first time ball across the face of goal from Grealish as well. But the thing is, and I blame Kepa for this. For some reason, Jamie Carragher on commentary it seemed to give most of the blame to Cucurella, but for me, I don't think you can fault Cucurella for this goal. Kepa, if the ball's there to be taken, and it is, if he commits, he can get there, and he sort of half commits and then pulls out of it. If he commits, he wins the ball easily, stops the cross. But he doesn't, and that means that Mahrez at the back post, if he gambles, and he did, he'll score. And you can't expect Cucurella to be able to, predict what's about to happen. Cucurella has to adapt to what he sees in front of him. And it's very hard to adapt in a split second when you see your goalkeeper start to go for it and then pull out. So I think it was very unfair to put the blame on Cucurella for the Man City winner, Mahrez. I think you mainly have to look at Kepa if you're looking for a culprit or someone to blame for that goal. But yeah, Chelsea, they chucked on their kids with about 20 minutes to go. Gallagher came on as well. And to be fair, they did, they did run their socks off whilst they were on the pitch. Gallagher in particularly, I mean, he's like, it seems as though he's got like 7 lungs or something. The guy just doesn't stop running when he's on the pitch, especially if he's fired up, which he, obviously was in this game. He flew into tackles with John Stones on 2 occasions, I think. So yeah, it wasn't a bad performance from Chelsea considering the situation they're in. You can probably tell I've got a cold. My sinus is really blocked here, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, Chelsea, it wasn't a bad performance at all. They even came close on a couple of occasions in the second half scoring. But we'll get into some player ratings. Start with the home team, Chelsea. Kepa, I've given a 5. Simply because he wasn't tasked with much this evening, because City didn't actually create loads of chances. Like Haaland, I can't even remember if Haaland got a shot on target in the game. But Kepa, the one big thing he did have to deal with in this game, he let himself down. So I've given him a 5. And then the defence, I've given Azpilicueta a 6. Solid performance. Did his job, nothing spectacular. But the 2 centre-backs, Silva and Koulibaly's not had the best start to life at Chelsea. But I thought this game he played quite well, to be fair. So I've given him and Thiago Silva, who, it was super positionally and, used every bit of experience he had throughout the game, as he usually does. I've given both of them a 7. And Cucurella at left-back, I've given a 6. I think that might be a bit harsh, but I don't know, that he didn't do the best in tracking his man for the goal. As much as I don't think it was his fault, he possibly could have done a bit better there. But other than that, his all-round play, when he got on the ball, he was quite positive. So I've given him a 6. And then in midfield, Zakaria, I've given a 7. I thought he was superb, and he's put in some good performances over the past couple of months. I mean, there have been only 4 or 5 games in that time, but since he's come into the team properly, he's been a good performer for Chelsea. So yeah, I've given him a 7. Kovacic, I've given a 6 because I didn't think he had a great game tonight. In the first half, he was possibly Chelsea's, maybe not worst player, but he was definitely not one of the best players in the team. There were a couple of occasions where he lost the ball in situations where he had a fair bit of time on the ball, and didn't shouldn't have lost it at all, really. But second half he was considerably better, I thought. So I think 6 is fair. And then Ziyech I've given a 6. Didn't get involved as much as I thought he would. But he had a couple of good moments, so 6 is fair. Havertz I've given a 7. He was possibly Chelsea's best attacking player, along with Chukwuemeka for me. He picked the ball up in some good positions and looked like making things happen, whereas sometimes I feel with Havertz that, he can sort of disappear in games sometimes. So he played quite well tonight, especially as it was up against a really good opponent in Man City. Aubameyang I've given a 5. Just didn't really get involved enough in the hour he was on the pitch. Got subbed off with 20 minutes to go. Not his best performance, and he hasn't had many great performances since joining Chelsea, really. Certainly in recent times, anyway. Chukwuemeka I've given a 7. Again, when he came on the pitch, similar to Havertz, when he picked up the ball, came really close to scoring just before half time, and did positive things with the ball. So I think he's definitely staked a claim in this game to say that he could possibly be a starter for Chelsea at the weekend in the Cup against Man City, because they haven't got many players fit at the moment, and he has played really well. But on to Man City. Ederson I've given a 6. Didn't have a great deal to do. He did have to make a few saves, but there weren't any wonder saves. So I've given him a 6. He kept a clean sheet, which is positive. But I felt Chelsea's finishing in this game could have been a bit better. Is the one thing. Walker I've given a 6. I didn't think he was that bad. I don't think he got subbed off at half time because it was a poor performance. It was more, a tactical change, and it was just did his job. He gets a 6. And then man of the match I've given to John Stones. Jamie Carragher agreed with me on that. I just thought that there was one situation. I think it was when Chukwuemeka hit the post, where the ball falls to him. He's in his own 6-yard box, and it's just so calm. He's got a couple of Chelsea players around him, takes a touch, and then uses the outside of his foot just to flick it through to, I think it was either Rodri or Gundogan. And really composed on the ball, and he has a few class moments throughout the match. So I think he deserves a man of the match in this game. Ake I've given a 7. Again, unlucky not to score with the header he had on the hour mark roughly, and an overall solid performance. Bernardo Silva I've also given a 7. Does what he does in terms of working his socks off. Had a few dribbles where he got into some dangerous positions for the team. So the 7's fair. Rodri I've given a 6. I felt there were a couple of times maybe tonight which is uncharacteristic of him, where maybe Havertz or Chukwuemeka got the better of him at times. So a 6. It wasn't a bad game by any means. Cancelo I've given a 5. I think this was more down to the fact that Cancelo got put in 2 completely different positions within 45 minutes of football. So I think this 5 is more down to the fact that he was put in a difficult situation more than anything, because he went from playing left back the first 20 minutes to right midfield. They're 2 slightly different positions, especially as you're coming up against a whole set of different players. It's not like going from left back to left mid, it's the other side of the pitch completely. So it was quite unlucky in that regard. Gundogan I've given a 6. It was one of them performances where he didn't make any errors, but you didn't really notice him in the game. De Bruyne I've given a 7. Had some good moments, brought the ball forward quite a lot for Man City, got a few dangerous positions. I felt there was one opportunity he had with about 20-25 minutes to go where he should have scored. It was on the right hand side of the goal. In fact, it might have even been before Man City went ahead. He missed the target when he arguably should have scored. Foden I've given a 6. Not a bad performance. Didn't get overly involved, but I think this is his first start in quite a while for Man City. So you can't expect him to get thrown straight back into it and be performing at his best as like straight away. Haaland I've given a 5 because I just didn't notice him really, bar a couple of occasions. And I know he still does something there, but if I'm judging him on this game and this game alone, I think a five's probably fair, because there were very few occasions where you actually noticed him, and that's not being harsh. It's just the way he plays. If he doesn't score really, or he doesn't, you know, hold the ball up and lay it off to a teammate that often, then there's not a whole lot to his game other than the fact that his movements, you know, Thiago Silva and Koulibaly, they have to watch it, and it maybe distracts them from other players like Foden, Mahrez, Grealish, Bernardo Silva. So I've given him a 5. And then the subs, Akanji and Rico Lewis, have both given 6s. They came on the pitch, did their job, and you know, got the job done in the end for Man City. And then the other 2 subs, Mahrez and Grealish, came on with half an hour to go. I've both given them 7s, because it was crying out for someone who maybe isn't like going to beat about 5 players, but someone who can hold an area out wide, pick the ball up, and then, you know, bring it inside, which is what both players are very good at. And funnily enough, for their goal, that's not what happened. It was actually a first time cross for Grealish from Mahrez at the back post. So yeah, they both made an instant impact on the pitch and won the game for Man City. So 7s are definitely fair for both of them. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.